around. He sets and throws, and this ball is caught.
All right, here's my my gut reaction on Nebraska's loss to Michigan State. And just like I said before, don't underestimate Michigan State. They always seem to play Nebraska tough. This game is always a one-score game, usually a 3 or 4 game. So I knew this is probably how it's going to be. And I said Nebraska's offense, as you know, is not as good. It's been struggling. They've got a lot of new players on there. They're only playing 3 of their original starters. So, and Michigan State actually, to me, defensively, has been okay, been pretty decent. You can't really count the game. I know they were talking about they've been outscored 66 to 12 or 67 to 12 in the last 2 games. But you really can't count that Michigan game that they lost 49-0. Michigan's kind of been doing that to everybody. But Michigan State hasn't scored a offensive touchdown in over 2 games. They only got 4 field goals against Minnesota. And so what I saw in this game, the offense and the defense, I saw a Nebraska game. I saw Michigan State want this game more than Nebraska did. And I can't understand that why. Nebraska has more to play for. They were in the West, so they had that. They need one more win for a bowl game. But I saw a Michigan State team, especially on the defensive side, seemed like they won it, fired to the ball, was getting after it, to me, a lot better than Nebraska. I was kind of disappointed in Nebraska's defense this game. Like I said, Michigan State hadn't scored a touchdown in over 2 games. They only got 4 field goals the last game against Minnesota, and of course, they got shut out about Michigan. And they kind of moved the ball against Nebraska almost with ease. They weren't great. Michigan State were great, but Michigan State doesn't have a great. They're playing a true freshman quarterback that they, at the time this week, they didn't even know was starting the game. So I was really disappointed. Did Nebraska kind of overlook Michigan State, which I'm surprised if they did. One, I'm surprised Rule would let them get to that point. But 2, the way this game is kind of ended and went the last since they've been in the Big Ten playing Michigan State. And of course, just the way their seasons have gone the last 4, 5, 6 years, you wouldn't think they would. So you don't know if that's it. But Nebraska didn't look good all around. They definitely didn't look good defensively. They didn't look offensively, which I didn't expect them to anyway. And Harbaugh seemed to struggle through this whole game. He was overthrowing passes, just missing guys over and over. It's almost like he kept not seeing the defenders. He threw a couple of picks where he just threw it right to the safety. And you saw Rule get onto him at one time. And I think it's because of that. He's like, you have to see him. And I think, what's he doing? Is he kind of getting that tunnel vision where he's eyeballing his receiver and he's not looking what's around him? Because on both of them, if you just kind of looked a little deeper out, you would have seen the safety sitting there. And then on that deep throw where Michigan State had the busted play, if he just throws it off his left shoulder and not up the middle on his right, where, again, the safety was just parked there, and they ended up picking the ball off there at the 5 or 6 yard line. If he throws it over the other shoulder, it's either incomplete or it's a touchdown. Yeah, the defender slipped, and that should have been a touchdown. So Nebraska, again, kind of shot themselves in the foot. I'm not going to get into the officiating, which there were some suspect calls and all that, and the clock management. I noticed at the end, being in East Lansing, that could be a little reason where the clock just ran even after the first down. And then where the officials did not stop the ball or stop the game after that pass that got knocked out of Harbaugh's hand, where they got to rush to the team because clock's running out. That should have been an automatic stop, and let's look at this to make sure. And I don't know what they're thinking. They're thinking, oh, we don't want to give an advantage if it's really nothing. But when it's something that close, and I don't care what side of the teams it would have been on, you got to, for the integrity of the game, you got to stop you got to stop the clock to at least let them have a chance to look at it, even if it's real quick, going, nope, it's good, and then you start it back up and start winding the clock. But that was an incomplete pass. You've seen Dean, their analyst on the network, their replay analyst, state himself that this was an incomplete pass because it's when the arm starts going forward, that's what they judge by a forward pass. So that should have been incomplete with probably about 10 seconds, 9 seconds left. If I had to guess, I didn't go back and look. And it might not have mattered. Nebraska had no timeouts left, and it didn't look like whoever's running the clock there was going to stop it anyway. So kind of disappointed in this because, and the reason why, because they still need one more win, and doesn't mean they cannot get it, but this was probably their easiest matchup they had the rest of the year. And to me, it would have been more important to grab it now, get that relief of, okay, we've done it, and everything else after this would have been gravy. And so I know Rule's going to have some answers. He's going to be able to learn from this. So I do expect him to learn from this, and I do expect him to come back next week against Maryland and play a lot better. Plus, they'll be at home. If this game would have been at home, I think it would have been a better outcome. But I could tell right off the bat, I worried about this game right off the bat, mainly the way they just moved the ball against our defense. I knew then the Huskers were in trouble. I'm going, we do not have the offense to play from behind, and Nebraska kept playing from behind the whole game. They did a decent job at times, and some of the play calling I kind of questioned. Don't know what Satterfield and Rule came up with, but you know, everybody has bad games. Even coaches have bad games. So I take this as a team loss. The defense, the offense, and even the coaches and how they called the game, it just seemed like nobody was really ready for this game. And did they just take last week's win, mainly with winning as ugly as they did with all them turnovers and winning by 17, did they just kind of take it as, oh, we're about to go in there and play a Michigan State team that's lost 6 in a row? The only 2 games they won was their first 2 games against 2 opponents. I can't even remember their names. I don't even know if they were Power 5 opponents. They haven't won a Big Ten game yet until now, but Nebraska seems to be doing that to give one team their only Big Ten win. So it's not over yet, but I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to struggle to get 6 wins. And if they don't get it next week, they could easily end at 5. And don't be surprised if they don't end at 5 wins, because they got Maryland, they got Wisconsin, they got Iowa. Them are not easy games. I know everybody's saying, well, Maryland's kind of struggling. Yes, but Maryland's a lot better than Michigan State. Every one of these teams they're going to play from here on out, Maryland, Wisconsin, and Iowa, are a lot better than Michigan State. So it's going to be interesting to see how Rule gets this team ready, and hopefully they can get it done with Maryland. So until the middle week, till I could come out with that next preview on the Maryland game, let's not give up hope. And if you feel like they could still squeak out a bowl, win one more and squeak out a bowl entry and get a bowl game, you know, let me know in the comments. Hit that like button and let me know that you believe they still can. And if you don't, maybe tell me in the comments below why you don't think, why you think they can't, and what do you think the reason is, and what maybe you think they should do. So I'd like to get everybody's opinion, because I think we all been watching this game enough that we could answer a lot of the things that probably need to be done. We just don't get the say in it. So until that next video, guys, go Big Red.